get the video and audio
Shus,
goes.
Rabbi say, Loim de Teire, Tamid Chachomim, Bnei Teire, Chayvei Teire. The shir today will be on the Inyan of Schabros of two mitzvahs. It will become clear as we get into the Inyan, what the Inyan is about. The Ramah Paskins in Hilchos Sefer Teire, Simen Kuf Mem Aleph Siv Zayin. B'lo yered ad she'ola kva haroy likris achrov. When there's a number of kruyim, like every case Torah is a number of kruyim, it's either gimel kruyim, or dalet kruyim, or zayin kruyim. So each one, each kaira, each oile is oile for his kriya, for his chelik. He should not leave the bima, lo yered, he should not leave the Sefer Torah and the bima, ad she'ola kva haroy likris achrov, like the next oil is there already. And that's how we're noik. Not too many people know the reason for it, but that's how we're noik, that you don't leave the bima, the Sefer Torah, till the next oil is there. And Beikir, the Yisoid is to wait till he comes. We wait till after he finishes Aliyah, his Kriya, the next oil, because we don't want people looking to get back to their place while the Balkair is laning. It's hard to listen, Kedin, b'shas you're looking to get back to your place. That's why you wait till the next oiler finished his kriya. The Goyin says on this halacha, the mokir is a Mishnah Psochim, and I'll read the Mishnah in a moment. Makabel Tamolei, it's a maril b'shem Mordche, and the Goyin also mitzayin to look at the end of Simen Kuf Mem Zayin. There's another halacha in Ramah, also in Hilchos Sefer Teire, and the Ramah says that the day b'yom sheyesh bo shnei Sefer Teire, when we take our two Sefer Teire, like we do in the entire Yontif, the halacha is Ein Mesalkan HaRishayna, you don't make Hagba on the first Sefer Torah that you just finished laning, Ad Shekvar Hanichu Hashniya Al HaShulchan. You don't make the Hagba on the first one until you put down the other Sefer Torah, and also a noig like that. Here Ramah says the reason for it. Shlo Yesichu Da'ito Min HaMitzvos. There shouldn't be a hesach hadas when you're doing two mitzvahs one after the other. There shouldn't be a hesach hadas between the two mitzvahs. And the kavanah of the Ramah is that the tzibur is still mekusha to the first kriya, to the first Sefer Torah, to the first mitzvah. When I'm a sulik from the first mitzvah called man, the Sefer Torah is still on the bima. When we magbiyah the Sefer Torah, that we learn the first kriya, that's when we become a sulik from the first mitzvah. And the connection to the second kriya, we get that connection with putting the Sefer Torah on the bima. Even before we start laning, if the Sefer Torah is ready to be laned, and it's on the bima already, then we get the connection to the second mitzvah. So we don't want hesach hadas between two mitzvahs. We want the connection of the two mitzvahs. So you don't become a sulik from the first kriya till we're already connected to the second kriya. And that's also the inyan of the first Ramah in Simen Kuf Mem Aleph, that the oiler should not leave the bima, the Sefer Torah, till the next oiler reaches to the bima and to the Sefer Torah. And the same idea, because it's two chalakim of Kriyas HaTorah, each oiler is doing a different portion, different chalik of Kriyas HaTorah. We want these two chalakim to be connected. The tzibur is not mesulik from the kriya of the first oiler. Kolzman, the first oiler, is still connected to the Sefer Torah, standing by the bima. So the tzibur is not mesulik. And the connection to the second kriya is, the next kriya is when the oiler reaches there. when he gets to the bima. So we connect these two chalokim of the kriya by the fact that the connection that the tzibur gets to the second kriya is while they're still connected to the first kriya through the oiler standing there that finished the kriya and he's still standing there. And the inyan is there shouldn't be a hefsek between the two mitzvahs. What's the mokkeh? The mokkeh is the Mishnah in Pesach. The Mishnah in Pesach of Samach Daled the Seder of Shchita, Kabbalah, and the Halachas Adam to be shofech the dam on the Mizbeach in Korban Pesach. There were Kemuven, there were Shecht, the Pesachim of Gans Tal Yisrael, there were a lot of Pesachim. So the Seder was that a Yisrael was shochet, and the Kohen that was standing near the Mokum HaShchita was Mekabel the dam, and he gave it l'chaveiroi, and there was a whole shura of koyanim from the Mokum HaShchita till the Mokum HaMizbeach, till the Shvicha, and each kohen gave it over the dam to the next kohen. The Mishnah says, in the Seder of the kohenim on the line, how they had to deal with the dam, steht in the Mishnah, u'mekabelus ha'molei u'machzes ha'reikon, which means that the kohenim on the line, each kohen had to deal with the kohen that's closer to the shchita and with the kohen that's closer to the mizbeach. From the kohen that's closer to the shchita, he had two dealings with him. He had to mekabel the molei, a mizrach that's coming from the Mokum HaShchita, that's the molei that's ready to go to the mizbeach. There should be nishbach on the mizbeach. And he had to also return a kli reikon that he received from the kohenim closer to the mizbeach to bring it back to the Mokum HaShchita because they needed kseda to get back the reikon to be able to have more kalim, more mizrokos, to be mekabel adam and to send it to the mizbeach for shvicha. So he had two functions. He had to, the kohen that's dealing with the kohen that's closer than him to the Mokum HaShchita, he had to be mekabel amolei, and he had to return an empty mizrach. What do you do first? Steht in the Mishnah, the Seder is mekabel amolei u'marzos hareikon. First, he receives the molei, then he returns the reikon. Not the other way. Not that he receives the reikon, he gives over the reikon, and then he's mekabel the molei. He passes on the reikon, and then he's mekabel the molei the other way. He's mekabel the molei first, and then he's machzir the reikon. So the way the Maril and the Ramah are making the Schustal, and they're understanding the kavona, the oimik of this Indian is that this kohen shouldn't be mesulik from one mitzvah before he starts the second mitzvah. Each kohen on the line, when he's mekabel the molei, he's starting a new mitzvah of Elochas Adam, of the molei. That's he's being moilchit towards the mizbeach for shvicha. He's also being oisig in siluk, becoming masulik from the shvicha that was done already. By the fact that he's giving over the reikon, he's being becoming masulik for a mitzvah that was done already. So there's a disconnection to a mitzvah and a reconnection to a mitzvah, a new connection to a new mitzvah. So the din is not to disconnect first and then reconnect afterwards. Then in between, he's not connected to any mitzvah. He's had the zayz chadas between the two mitzvahs. Rather, he should be mekabel the molei while he still has the reikon beyodoi and is still connected to the mitzvah of shvicha and to connect the two mitzvahs. That's the idea of this Mishnah, and this is the mark of the Ramos two dinim in Chisa Sefer Torah. One, that the oiler should not leave till the new oiler, the next oiler, reached the bima, the Mokum HaKriya, And the second din, that it should not be magbia the first Sefer Torah till you lay down the other Sefer Torah on the bima. Now the Magavrom in Simukov Mem Zayin is a very strong kasha. It's two kashas. I want to start with the first kasha. Is a kasha that l'chayre the Gemara in Samad with Beis is fakert in this Ramo, this Maril. Because the Gemara explains the Seder, Aval Ipchaloi, Kibus HaMolei U'Marzas HaReikon. Aval Ipchaloi, sagt die Gemara, Mesaila Resh Lakish, Omer Resh Lakish, Ein Mavil Al HaMitzvahs. The Indian is Ein Mavil Al HaMitzvah. Rashi explains, the Mchimoshit Lei Hai, when the Kohen that's closer to the Mokem HaShrita is Moshit, he sticks his hand out to give it to him. Miyad boy lekabule. He has to miyad right there and then. He cannot be mashit. He can't be ma'acheret. He has to immediately miyad be makabel what he's passing to him. Why? The me'ema v'ila mitzvahs shmacha shebala yoda. That's the me'ema v'ila mitzvahs. If a mitzvah is bala yoda, you have to do it immediately, not to be ma'acheret. So it's clone the Gemara that the reason of the Seder be makabel amolei before Marza Reikon and not doing it the other way, avlip chaloi, not returning the Reikon, because those few moments of Achzaros HaReikon is a geder ma'aval HaMitzvahs. He's being ma'acher HaMitzvah, that's Bala Yoda. Vibalt, he's passing it to you, he's moishing it to you. So it's called a Bala Yoda, you're not allowed to be ma'aval HaMitzvahs. So you see, Claude is no Indian. The Indian is not to connect the two mitzvahs of the previous shvicha and the next halachas adam. That's not the Indian. The Indian is ein maviren ala mitzvahs. Before we try to be miyashem b'siyat ha'shmaya, the Merabon was kashet atmiyah asuma the mosques vakert. I want to be medayik in Rambam that the Rambam understands this Mishnah like the Maril and the Ramah, not like the Magen Avraham, Mishek portion of the Gemara. The Rambam brings this Mishnah in Perek Av called Pesach, Halacha Yedalet. The Rambam says, Shochet HaShoichet, the Kibbel HaKoyen, that's the first Koyen, standing near the Mokem HaShrita, Nois l'chaveir v'chaveir l'chaveiroi. Ad she'igi Adam esel Koyen HaKol v'mizbeach. Now the Mishnah Seder is, after the Mishnah says that there's a lot of Koyenim and you give over one to the other, the Mishnah right away, before the Mishnah gets to the Shvicha, the Mishnah says already, the Seder, or Makabel Amolei, or Marzas HaReikon. The Rambam Mashanda the Seder. The Rambam brings first that you Makabel, and this one kohen is the next. Achi Gia Adam es Kohen HaKol Mizbeach Shoifroi. He talks about the Shvicha. When he's done with the Shvicha, then he says the halacha of the Seder, Makabel Mizrak Echad Molei, V'achach Marzas HaReikon. When he finishes with the Shvicha, he says the Seder. That first you Makabel the Molei, and then you Marzah the Reikon. And here's Daiti, the Rambam's Mashanda the Seder of the Mishnah for a reason. And it's very, very meduik in Rambam that this Seder is only on the last Kohen that makes the Shvicha. There's not a Seder for all the Kohenim on the line. Not every Kohen on the line, when he deals with the Kohen that's closer to the Shrita, and he's returning a Reikon and accepting a Molei, has this din, the Seder, to accept the Moli before he returns the Reikon. It's only a halacha on the last Kohen that he's making the Shvicha, and has to return the Reikon back to the Makam HaShrita through all the Kohenim on the line, and he also has to Mekabel Nu Dam to make the Shvicha. Only he has this din of Machze Mekabel Samole first, V'achach Machze Sareikon. Another digduk, besides that he changed the Seder in the Mishnah, the Rambam says a Vav, puts a Vav, when he says the halacha that is Mekabel, the Moli first, is Umekabel. It's mashma very strong that he means to connect it, that he means to be talking, he's talking about the Shofech. He's not talking about all the Kohenim on the line. Umekabel means to Mechaber, to the Shofech, that his kavanah is only on the Shofech, that the Shofech, he has the Seder of Mekabel first, and then Hachzoras Areikon. And the reason for that is very understandable, moving, according to the Ramon Maril's Mahalach in this Mishnah, of connecting two mitzvahs, where you be Mesulah for one mitzvah, and be starting a connection to another mitzvah, you connect them. Because the Rambam Shita is that, and it's very, very moving, that the only Kohen here that's still connected to the dam, to the mitzvah that passed already, the shvicha, is only the Kohen that made the shvicha. Because the Kohen that made the shvicha, that has the reikon in his hand, it's here in his hand, left over from when he had it, mole, from when he was, from the time that he was shayfich, it's still in the same hand, the same yad that he made the shvicha with. So he's still connected to the shvicha. Mashenkin, the Kohenim on the rest of the line that are receiving this reikon when it's empty already, how is he connected to the shvicha that was done? His connection started to a mizrach reikon. His connection to this mizrach, the ascholav, the connection was a mizrach reikon. The Kohen that made the shvicha, he connected this mizrach when it was mole, and he did a mitzvah with it. So he's not mesulik from that mitzvah. Kolzman, he has the reikon beyodoi. Could this there b'toires shirayim left over from the mitzvah that he did? That's why he's still connected. Mashenkin, the rest of the Kohenim on the line, they're connected to a mizrach reikon. And what shaykhs do they have with the shvicha? How are they connected to the shvicha? So man, on them there's no din. What's the problem if he's machzor reikon before he's mekabel the mole? Even if he's mekabel the mole when he has the reikon, he's anyway not connected to the shvicha that passed already. That's why the Rambam is meduyik, moed, meduyik, that he means takadafke the kohen hashayfich. He has the seder. But if the pshat would be like smash from the Gemara, like the Maravron's mechir from the Gemara, that the pshat is that when somebody's moishe to you a chefta shel mitzvah, there's a din you have to do it immediately, not to be over in mavin ala mitzvahs. So avada, just like the kohen hashayfich is, when he's receiving a mole, there's a mitzvah b'al yodei to mekabel dam, to get the dam to v'shvicha. So same thing, not any less. There's a mitzvah b'al yodei, all the kohenim on the line, when they're receiving a dam, and there's a moishit, it's b'al yodei, dam to mekayim halacha's adam. What is the difference? So there's no mokum to mechalik from the kohen hashayfich and the rest of the kohenim on the line. The only mokum to mechalik between the kohenim hashayfich, the kohen hashayfich and the rest of the kohenim, if you go with the Maril and the Ramah, that the Indian is to connect, not to lose the connection of a previous mitzvah before you start the connection to the new mitzvah. They should be mechubah, the two mitzvahs should be mechubah. So it's Meduik and Rambam that the time is the Ramah and the Maril, not like it says in the Gemara. I want to also medayik. The Rambam Pimple Shnais is also very stark meduyik. Like the Maril. V'omu, mekabel tamolo u'masa reikon. Lo yidiacho hazrizos v'acharitzos shel hamitzvah. To show how the Kohanim was and acharitzos in the kiyum mitzvah of the loch adam. Ki lo yoya marzik as a mizrak. The Kohen didn't return the mizrak. He held on to it. That's reikon. Ad shehoy lekeach as hasheni. He held on to the reikon until he was mekabel the mole. Now, if the pshat is like the Magen Avraham, it's much from the Gemara that you have to receive miyad. So the point is not that he held on to the reikon. The point is that he didn't waste time. He didn't use out the time for anything else, but then being mekabel the dam that the kohen that closer to the shechita was Moshe to Yodai. So he should have left out, should have talked about the reikon. He should have said that he's miyad. The Rambam should have made the point of the charitzas and the zrizas was that he was mekabel miyad. Not lo yoya machze, he didn't return the reikon. He was mekabel the moli before he returned the reikon. He should have made the point at Gosha on the Kabbalah Samoli. And he makes the point that he held on to the reikon. It's mashma that the chshivas over here is that the reikon is still there. If the pshat is where the Magen Avraham learns, it's not the reikon is there, it's not a maila. The maila is that they didn't use out the time for achzoras reikon, and he was mekabel the mola miyad. But the fact that the reikon is beyoda is not any chshivas. The Rambam makes the adgosha the chshivas that they still has the reikon, because that connects him to the friedige mitzvah. So we have a Rambam science Sefer Yad and science page Mishnayos that's very stark moira, like the pshat of the Maril and the Ramah. And before we go weiter, I want to explain Pshat Rishmaya, what's the kavanah of the Maril and the Ramah, and what's the chshivas of connecting two mitzvahs, yesiach da'ato min mitzvahs, which is the lashon of the Ramah in Kuf Mem Zayin. Yesiach da'ato min mitzvahs. What is the idea? And here's the idea I want to tell you what you do in Nefesh HaChaim in Shar Aleph, Perek Aleph, Perek Dalet, in the Hago, Shar Aleph, Perek Vav, Shar Aleph, Perek Vav, in the Hago. He says there, I don't have it in front of me right now, but he says there, B'kitzer, that when a person is Ola B'da'ato Elasis Mitzvah, even before he made a commitment, he's considering to do a mitzvah, miyad, is shoyra on him a kedusha from the Shoresh HaMitzvah, and he calls it, the Heilig Nefesh HaChaim calls it Orem Akiv, and that's shoyra on him, and that's encourage the person to go on with the achona to the mitzvah, and as he moves on with the achona, the kedusha grows on him, and it gives him siyata d'shmaya to be able to finish it, and cheshik, and the slavus to be able to do the mitzvah. And it keeps growing on him as he goes on with the achon of the mitzvah, the kedusha keeps growing on him. And the Chaim's fear is that by the time he's ready to finish the mitzvah, there is so much kedusha that's shayra on him that is actually in Gan Eden. And in Perek Yud Beis, in Shar Aleph, he mentions this again, and over there he says that the main kedusha that was shared on him throughout the Aschola of Ola B'da'ato till the Gemara Mitzvah leaves him when he finishes the mitzvah. When he completes the mitzvah, the kedusha leaves him. But it's mevuya that there's a roshim that remains, because the Nefesh HaChaim says in a few places that this is the inyan of mitzvah geras mitzvah, that the kedusha that's left on the person is moishechim, encourages him, and gives him a cheshik to do the same mitzvah again or other mitzvahs. But the main chelik of the kedusha leaves him when the mitzvah is over. Now there's a very poshut l'chayre that besides that the kedusha encourages him and helps him, it's also meroimim the madrega of the mitzvah. Kamuv me'elo, a person that's in Gan Eden, and he's so much kedusha that's makif him, he's in a different madrega, and his madrega is higher. So his madrega is meroimim the kiyam mitzvah also. That sees the mitzvah, the madrega is sees the mitzvah. Ken zayin. The union of connecting the two mitzvahs is that the kedushas become connected. And once the kedushas become connected, the first kedusha doesn't leave him till the second kedusha is ready to leave him. So the second mitzvah that's done when both kedushas are connected, there's a double kedusha. It's another siyata d'shmaya, another zrizus, another encouragement, another esroimimus, another madrega of esroimimus in the asiyas ha-mitzvahs. That's why, that's the inyan of the yisiach da'toi min ha-mitzvahs. Now I want to try to miyashiv the Maravom's first kasha first. I didn't say the other kasha, I didn't say it. We'll get there soon. The Maravom is from the Gemara's Faket. The Gemara says, Alip chaloi, Messiah the Shlokish, Dom the Shlokish, Mavir ala mitzvahs. According to the Maril and the Ramo, this has nothing to do with Mavir ala mitzvahs. It's a different Indian. The Indian is the chibur of Kedusha, like we're explaining it. What does that have to do with Mavir ala mitzvahs? And here's Daiti, I want to say Pshat in the Gemara, according to the Ramo and the Maril. It's a vuya here that when a person is oisig in two mitzvahs, he's finishing one and starting a second one, there's a din like yisiach da'toi min ha-mitzvahs, they should be connected. Like we just learned in the Ramo and the Maril and in the Rambam's Pshat in the Mishnah of Mekabel Thamol and Marzas HaReikon. V'achach Marzas HaReikon. You're talking that this din is only shayach when the one that's finishing one mitzvah, starting the second mitzvah, before he starts the second mitzvah, and he's still not finished with the first mitzvah, it's already mutal on him. It's already, the second mitzvah is already his mitzvah, and it's mutal on him that he has to mekayim it. But if it's a mitzvah that has nothing to do with him, it's efshar sof de'acherem. But he's planning, when he finishes this mitzvah, he's going to do another mitzvah. But it's not his mitzvah. Somebody else can do it. But he's planning to do it. Vibalt, b'shas, he's completing the first mitzvah. Al pidin, it's not his mitzvah yet. It's something that's loy b'al oilam. He's planning to miniskak to another mitzvah. It's not considered that mitzvah's here yet. So it doesn't shafa seder, there's no seder yet to connect them, the two mitzvahs. There's a seder and two mitzvahs that they should be connected. It's only when before you finish the first mitzvah, there's already a second mitzvah, that's his mitzvah. That's mutal on him. So at Tzibur, that's oisik in Kriyas HaTorah, avad is mutal on the Tzibur, all the chalokim of Kriyas HaTorah, all the Zayin Kruyim, the Kriya both Sefer Torah, it's mutal on the Tzibur. B'shas is still learning, from the first Sefer Torah, it's already mutal on them, the Kriya of the second Sefer Torah. So then there's a Seder. To connect them, they should be connected. Yisiach da'toi min ha-mitzvahs. Mashenkein, the Koyanim on the line, he has dam of a reikon, and he's connected to the shvicha. He's not finished with being mesul from the shvicha. He's planning to mekabel more dam from the kohen that's closer to the
And
Hello, everybody. So we have a little bit of a takala here, so hang on here while we
while we fix it. Obviously, we had a thing here. Okay, we're back to normal. Malchazum works on Chalamoid. Everybody just hang on here a second. So we're trying to find for the kasha on the two kashas. One of the Magen Avram that the Chayra, the Sugya, makes no mention of Hesach Das and goes straight to Inviviral Mitzvahs. So why not? According to the Merla, should have said of Hesach Das, or should have said that Hesach Das requires the starting of a mitzvah and not yet completing it, and overlapping directly into the next mitzvah. Everybody hang on here. I assume Marcha is reconfiguring the tape. It's another 10, 12 minutes. Rabbi Sai, I apologize. We apologize. Doesn't usually happen. We are trying to fix it. Okay, everybody says since today that we should.
I can't get it down. I'm having trouble downloading this.
Want to give Pesach a shot?
If Pesach is still on, maybe he got it.
Pesach, are you there? 1 to 2 seconds. Yes.
No, I thought you have it.
You should have Pesach. Were you not copied on it? Did not get it. Okay, so send it to him. Everybody say, everybody here, we are going to try to create a situation where we're overlapping the two mitzvahs. We're going to go from the first part of this to the first 2/3 of this year to the second third. There's going to be a slight delay here while we try to download it. Something went wrong here, as you can see, which happens sometimes. So we apologize. In order that there should be a ein masichin daitem in the mitzvahs, I'm going to do a chazara here. Here, go over the kashas. that of the Magen Avraham. Got two kashas on the Magen Avraham. I'm going to chaz this year that we had till now, and hopefully I'll be able to hang on here until the Pesach can download it and put it on. I hope his bandwidth has been good enough. So the Tamsis this year is found in the Yeshiva Sefer called Sefer Rishbei Eish, which was full disclosure, might see through Mechayin Yesharim Be'emtza Ois, my son Rav Avram. Let's go through this again. So the Mishnah Pesachim talks about the Kabbalah Saddam of the Karbonais HaPesach, which is a fancier way of saying Carbon Pesachs. And the way it was done is in the assembly line that started at the Makbah Shechita is nice l'chaver makabel samali amagos zarekim. Says the Gemara, avalip chaloi. You can't give the reikin first before you makabel the mole. Why? And the Gemara says, name of your mitzvahs. If you're going to take the reikim first, somehow that's created a name of your mitzvahs. The Achrayim, based on the Rishonim, have a different time here. Shulchan Aruch has two mitzvahs of Hilchos Kriyas Torah. First is, the Ramah says you should not, the first oila should not go down from the bima until the second one arrives. Says the guy, where do they get this from? So he brings him a reel, actually a Mordechai, where Mordechai was first, obviously. And the Makar is Al Gemara in the Mishnah, which is Makali the Male, and then the Reikon. And then the guy sends you to Kuf Mem Zayin. There's a parallel halacha, which says, in a day like today, when we have two Sifrei Torah, not only is this chal on the Kairim and the Oilim, it's chal on the Sifrei Torah itself. You don't take away the first Sifrei Torah until the second one is put on the Shulchan. As our minig is, we hold it there. Not connected. Shalai Kedivya Yerushalmi, that you keep it in the Arain, take it out only when you need to do this. This Yerushalmi is so mysterious. It's not clear that it's findable. For those of you who are wondering what's going on, we ran into a technical glitch, and we don't know why exactly. And we're trying to pick up the shear from where we stopped. It is being downloaded now on a second platform, and we hope it'll work. In the meantime, I'm chazring what was said till now. So anybody who stays on, as I said, it's about another 10, 15 minutes. Says the Gaon on the second halacha 2, same Gemara, same Moril, same Gemara. Which means the Moril explains that the reason of the Mishnah Pesachim is Yesiach, Da'toi, Mene Mitzvahs. Different from what the Gemara says. The Gemara says, as the Magen Avraham points out later, that the reason is a Mavirinal Mitzvahs. It is a different klal. It's related, it's not related, that's a different question. Of Lo Yesiach, Da'toi, Mene Mitzvahs. Where did this come from? So the Shiva Shtelzu, just a few moments ago, a wonderful, beautiful Nefesh Chaim. It's brought in Shar Aleph in the Hagah. The Nefesh Chaim talks about what incredible things are created by Yisiyas Mitzvah. That when a person starts having a ra'ayon to do the mitzvah, a rishumai is already created. Lamala. I'm just trying to look and see. A Pesach, did it ever arrive to you? Because I need to give the island some sort of a timing issue here. Did it ever arrive to you?
Yes, he has it. He's downloading it.
He's downloading it. Okay. Do we know how long it's going to take?
A couple of minutes. It's a large file.
Okay, Rabbi Say, whoever sticks around here is going to get a haftach from Rabbeinu Nefesh Chaim. Ich sag das nicht, und ich kein Rebbe, but the Nefesh Chaim wasn't a Rebbe either, but he was a different type of Admor. Nefesh Chaim promises us that when a person starts thinking to do a mitzvah, a rishum, his lashon is created l'mala b'mkar sharsha elyon. Not possible to get this Nefesh Chaim on Mordechai, huh? From our file here. We'll be messing up the download. Right? So the Rishum is done, Lamala. Here we go. And that creates a makkah from Or Kedusha. That helps him be goyim the mitzvah. Oh, we're getting the Nefesh Chaim on. This is going to start the download anyway. Hopefully not. Okay. Let's learn this Nefesh Chaim together again. Inside, many of you saw it already in the Achana Shir. Okay, it's not coming on, so I'll explain it outside. It says the Nefesh Chaim, Meisha Oil Al Raya Odam Lasses Mitzvah, take up Nasis Rishumai Lamala. Here we go. There we go. Second line. Meisha Oil Al Raya Odam Lasses Mitzvah, take up Nasis Rishumai Lamala B'Mkar Sharsha Elyon. Umamshich Misham Al Atzmer Makiv Kedush L'Yan Chafefes Olav V'Seiveves Oisai. This is what the Nefesh Chaim says, what happens when you do a mitzvah. And the Poel Yotzes of this Rishum Lamal that you created are threefold. First of all, Nefesh Chaim says, we scroll down, it allows you to finish the mitzvah. Brings a makar this in the Zayar, as he often does. Nefesh Chaim's Rebbe Gaon was the master of finding makaris in the Zayar, which to him the Zayar was like Asher Yeshvei. Okay, we can scroll down after the Zayar.
Rabbi Shapiro, it says we'll be finished in about 20 seconds. What minute was the shear stuck on?
If you put it,
28.
Okay, so the shear is up, it's running. So I'll take the screen share.
everybody hung on, unbelievable. There we go. Sorry. Okay, you heard the Nefesh Chaim again.
Opinion of Schabris of two mitzvahs. It'll become clear as we get into the
beginning Pesach,
what the in is about. Of connecting those, that by the time he's ready to finish the mitzvah, there is so much kedusha that's shared on him that is actually in Gan Eden. And in Perek Yud Beis, in Shar Aleph, he mentions this again. And over there he says that the main kedusha that was shared on him throughout the Aschala of all the Da'ito till the Gemara Mitzvah leaves him when he finishes the mitzvah. When he completes the mitzvah, the kedusha leaves him. But it's mavuya that there's a roshim that remains, because the Nefesh Chaim says in a few places that this is the inyan of mitzvah geras mitzvah, that the kedusha that's left on the person is moishech him, encourages him, and gives him a cheshik to do the same mitzvah again or other mitzvahs. But the main chelik of the kedusha leaves him when the mitzvah is over. Now there's a very poshit l'chayre that besides that the kedusha encourages him and helps him, it's also meroimim the madrega of the mitzvah. Kamuvim me'elav, a person that's in Gan Eden, and he's so much kedusha that's makiv him, he's in a different madrega, and his madrega is higher. So his madrega is meroimim that kiyam mitzvah also. That sees that mitzvah, madrega is that sees that mitzvah. Ken sein. The union of connecting the two mitzvahs is that the kedushas become connected. And once the kedushas become connected, the first kedusha doesn't leave him till the second kedusha is ready to leave him. So the second mitzvah that's done when both kedushas are connected, there's a double kedusha. It's another Siyata D'Shmaya, another Zrizus, another encouragement, another Esroimimus, another Madrege of Esroimimus in the Asiyas HaMitzvahs. That's why, that's the union of the Yisir Da'ato min HaMitzvahs. Now I want to try to miyashiv the Maravom's first kasha first. I didn't say the other kasha, I didn't say it. We'll get there soon. The Maravom is from the Gemara's Fakir. The Gemara says, Alip Chaloi, Messiah L'Shlokish, Dom L'Shlokish, Emavir Nala Mitzvahs. According to the Maril and the Ramah, this has nothing to do with Emavir Nala Mitzvahs. It's a different Indian. The Indian is the Chibur of Kedusha, like we're explaining it. What does that have to do with Emavir Nala Mitzvahs? And here's Daiti, I want to say Pshat in the Gemara, according to the Ramah and the Maril. It's a vuya here that when a person is oisik in two mitzvahs, he's finishing one and starting a second one, there's a din like Yisir Da'ato min HaMitzvahs, they should be connected. Like we just learned in the Ramah and the Maril and in the Rambam Pshat in the Mishnah of Mekabel Thamol and Marzas HaReikon. V'achach Marzas HaReikon. Yitochen that this din is only shayach when the one that's finishing one mitzvah, starting the second mitzvah, before he starts the second mitzvah, and he's still not finished with the first mitzvah, it's already mutal on him. It's already, the second mitzvah is already his mitzvah, and it's mutal on him that he has to mekayim it. But if it's a mitzvah that has nothing to do with him, it's the efshas of the echerem. But he's planning, when he finishes this mitzvah, he's going to do another mitzvah. But it's not his mitzvah. Somebody else can do it. But he's planning to do it. Vibalt, b'shas, he's completing the first mitzvah. Al pidin, it's not his mitzvah yet. It's something that's loy ba'olam. He's planning to miniskak to another mitzvah. It's not considered that mitzvah's here yet. So it doesn't shafa seder, there's no seder yet to connect them, the two mitzvahs. There's a seder and two mitzvahs that they should be connected. It's only when before you finish the first mitzvah, there's already a second mitzvah, that's his mitzvah, that's mutal on him. So at Tzibur, that's Oisik in Kriyas HaTorah, Avad it's mutal on the Tzibur, all the Chalokim of Kriyas HaTorah, all the Zayin Kruyim, the Kriya both Sefer Torah, it's mutal on the Tzibur. B'shas is still learning from the first Sefer Torah, it's already mutal on them to create the second Sefer Torah. So then there's a Seder. Connect them, they should be connected. Yisir Da'ato min HaMitzvahs. Mashenkein, the Koyanim on the line, he has dam of a reikon, and he's connected to the shvicha. He's not finished with being mesul from the shvicha. He's planning to mekabel more dam from the kohen that's closer to the mitzvahs. They should be connected. Al pidin, it's not his mitzvah yet. It's something that's loy ba'olam. He's planning to miniskak to another mitzvah. It's not considered that mitzvah's here yet. So it doesn't shafa seder, there's no seder yet to connect them, the two mitzvahs. There's a seder and two mitzvahs that they should be connected. It's only when before you finish the first mitzvah, there's already a second mitzvah, that's his mitzvah, that's mutal on him. So at Tzibur, that's Oisik in Kriyas HaTorah, Avad is mutal on the Tzibur, all the Chalokim of Kriyas HaTorah, all the Zayin Kruyim, the Kriya both Sefer Torah, it's mutal on the Tzibur. B'shas is still leaning and B'shas Namasulik from the first Sefer Torah, it's already mutal on them to create the second Sefer Torah. So then there's a Seder. To connect them, they should be connected. Sh'teisir Da'atim and HaMitzvahs. Mashen came, the Koyanim on the line, he has dam of a reikon, and he's connected to the shvicha. He's not finished with being mesul from the shvicha. He's planning to makabel more dam from the kohen that's closer to the.
That was the end? Can't be.
That's all that we have in the recording.
That's all there is in the recording?
Yes.
It wasn't in 2 tranches? Can't be. That was the end of the first tranche.
That's all he sent.
Well, Dafka, maybe that's all I sent. Okay, Rabbi Say, we're having problems here today. Let me see if I can solve this problem. What's Razi's email address for Mordechai?
He sent it from WeTransfer.
Oh, we transfer. Mm. $1.71 gigabytes. Expires on the 20th. Is it still kosher today?
Yes, it's another couple of hours.
Pesach, I'm sending it to you one more time. Rabbi Sai, if you can hear us, as you can see, we're handling this. I'm sending it to you one more time, see if it's the same thing. If not, we're going to have to, I'm going to talk in the meantime. Sorry, we're just trying to see if there's a second part to this, which we somehow didn't download. It has to be because it's not the end of this year. I know that for a fact. There's another 10 minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to chazer here, as we said. So we have the Nefesh Chaim, which the Rashiv explained that the Kedusha goes from one to the other. Pesach, did you get it? Pesach, you got to open your mic. LP Shleipig Der Cheteva,
I think it's the same file.
it's downloading again. Take another 2 minutes. It's the same file, but this is the WeWorks that he sent me. He didn't send me 2. Same gigabyte number. What happened to the second half of this year? Okay, everybody say, I'm just gonna sum up here because it's likely that all we have is it came into now. So the Magen Avraham had a kasha from 2 kashas. First kasha was from the Gemara's in Sachem is mashma. It's a din of Eim reveal and mitzvahs. It's not a din of Shlo Yisiach Da'ato mitzvahs. The second kasha Magen Avraham had from the Gemara in Yuma, where in the Seder Avodah, the Mishnah said that the Kohen Gadol put it on kan sheinish b'heichal, and then took the dam apar and he put down the dam asar. So he said, how can that be? He said, put down the dam asar and took the dam apar. So we see from Rava's admonition to the Shatz that after Kohen Gadol finished the dam asar for him, he put the dam asar down on the kan, and then the only afterwards that he takes the dam apart to be mazit meheichal. So we see at the time of the Hagdama of the Mizrek in Pesachim is Eim Avirnal Mitzvahs. And therefore, the Schustal to Yuma, as Magen Avraham asks, is that the dam is munach on the kain. And there's nobody there to give it to him. And therefore, that does not constitute an Eim Avirnal Mitzvah. If you're going to put down Yanach Dam, you can do the Yanach the Dam of the Sarf before the Tilas Dam of the Par. If it would have been, why? Because the Eim Avirnal Mitzvah doesn't click in until the mitzvah actually lefanecha. It's ayimid lefanecha. This is where Shiva got to. But if the tam was like the real, and the Ramah explained that it's a separate tam of yesiach daitim in the mitzvahs, so that's applicable to the dam par and the bamansar too. You can't be magdim the til's dam of the par before the damasar because you're going to create the gap. You're going to create an interim between the two mitzvahs, and therefore, a mesichin and a mesiach das and mitzvahs. So this is the kasha that we are dealing with here to explain the two separate halachas: the halacha of ein mavir al mitzvahs and the halacha of ein mesichin daitif in the mitzvahs. We're going to wait here 1 minute now because apparently, yes, okay, but let's try to see if we have the end of this year somehow. If we don't, then everybody can see. I'm just going to just be ready to say the last piece that was not yet explained. Alpi a Gemara in Menachos. The Gemara Menachos in the sugya of Tzitzis says that a loman is not ma'akev b'tchelis. And the Gemara says, it goes according to Rebbe, that tchelis and loman ma'akev zeh. But the Gemara is talking about lekadesh.
Shus, Rabbi say,
Okay, this is the beginning. Go to the end.
Moinde Teire, Tamid Chachomim, Bnei
It's only
Teire,
half hour.
Chayvei Teire.
Okay, everybody
That's his
say.
mitzvah. That's mutal on him.
Chazal has-
So at Tzibur, that's why in Kris HaTorah, Avad is mutal on the Tzibur, all the halakim of Kris HaTorah, all the Zayin Kruyim, the Kriya both Sefer Torah, it's mutal on the Tzibur. B'shas is still learning, and B'shas Namasulik, from the first Sefer Torah, it's already mutal on them, the Kriya of the second Sefer Torah. So then there's a Seder. To connect them, they should be connected. Shtei Datim and HaMitzvahs. Mashenkein, the Koyanim on the line, he has dam of a reikon, and he's connected to the shvicha. He's not finished with being mesul from the shvicha. He's planning to makabel more dam from the kohen that's closer to the.
As I said, there was a takala here. We'll figure out a way to see if we can get the second part of the file and show it at another time. If we get it to today, we'll try to show it tonight. If not, maybe we'll attach it to tomorrow's shir, the last part of this year. I'm going to theorize here by just telling you this teretz for the Gemara in Menachos, which says if you're not magdim b'kamak miyotze b'diavad in the tchelis and love. So we see from the Gemara that there's a seder and two things. To be magdim one for the other, it's shaykh to say that this is also ikuv. If it's ma'akav or not ma'akav. And so love is not ma'akav, it's chilus. We're talking about the seder, not just the existence of it. So therefore, we see from this Gemara that a place where there's a seder, it's not in a rak hagdama. It can go into etzem chalosid mitzvah likuva. And therefore, the seder is also likuva. So when it comes to the Pesachim, we understand that there was no din to do dafka, one person and a second afterwards. Either the halacha was you need to be a mark of the carbon Pesach. You couldn't do it all together with one person. Therefore, at the same time, obviously you have to be marked them sequentially, but not because there's a seder in the akrav of the carbon Pesach. However, when it comes to the dama par and the dama sar, there was makbid on the seder that the dama sar has to be before the dam hapar. Dam hapar lefnei in the eichel has to be before the dam hapar on the pareiches, and therefore, when there's a seder, the seder is ma'akev in the etzim yisayid of the kima mitzvah. So now, therefore, just to theorize, when do we say that a person should be makim the second mitzvah before you finish the first one, in order to give the overlap of the chafif of the kedusha? That's when the two mitzvahs are separate. They're not mekusher mechuber to them each other inherently. They're two separate mitzvahs. Okay, so therefore, when you finish the first mitzvah, it will weaken. So the Nefesh Chaim says, we want you to do the second mitzvah to give a booster shot to the kiyum of the first mitzvah. And therefore, you should not finish the first one until you get to the second one. But in the case of the Dama Par and the Dama Sawyer, which is the Magen Avraham second kasha, there the Dama Sawyer is not a din of finishing one mitzvah and doing the second mitzvah. No. In order to get to the Par, you have to have the Sawyer first. And therefore, they are a kusher because there's a chiyuv and ikuv in the sequence. When there's a chiyuv and ikuv in the sequence of a mitzvah, the two mitzvahs are inextricably linked, and the first kedusha does not go away until you do the second, which comes out. The kedusha of the dam asor does not go away until you actually are mazeh the dam of the par, because when two mitzvahs are meshul zeh b'zeh, akadekach, that there's a proscribed order, unless you finish the first one in sequence, the kedusha, till you finish the first one, the sequence, which is a sine qua non for the it's a condition precedent for the second one. You have an overlap of the two mitzvahs. Therefore, the din of dama par lefnei dama soyer is not a shaila of eschadas; it's a shaila of the basic sequence of the mitzvah, and the two mitzvahs are inextricably linked, and there's no shaila of eschadas here. And that's a teretz to the second of Magen Avraham kasha. So we answered both of the Magen Avraham kashas based on this side, and straighten out the two sugyas, Lefishi to Saramba. Okay, Rabbi say, obviously the last 10, 12 minutes of Shiva's beer would have been better to hear it from him, which we are going to work on. Sorry for this technological difficulties today. We will try to do a kapara here. If we can get it up, we'll play the last part tonight. If not, we'll try to do so. Amir Tashem B'li Neder tomorrow, in tandem with Goiner of Ram Shor Shir. We will get this B'li Neder somehow. Okay, everybody have a good night. And again, we apologize for and Mikam Chisrael, everybody hung around here till the end. Tonight at 8:15 there will be a Hashlam Shir, and tomorrow at 10 o'clock we'll have a Hagdama Shir to Kriyas Yamsuf. Everybody have a good day.